Hi everybody, my name is Bree and welcome to vlog number 3. I've got something sweet in store for you guys today. Can't wait to show you. Keep watching. Today's video, my name is Bree Spica and today I'm going to show you guys how to make my delicious strawberry raspberry pie. It's great for all kinds of holidays and it just tastes really good, and sometimes I make it just because I feel like it. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so to get started we're going to make the crust, and for that we need a half a cup of butter, or we can buy them in sticks here in Canada, shortening, flour, salt, a bowl of ice water, a large mixing bowl, measuring spoons, measuring cups, and a blender, which I just have in the box here. And so I also have my recipe just to the side here. It's on my iPad, so if I keep looking to the side, that's why. Because even though I know how to make it, I always like to refer back to the recipe. It's just a recipe by Driscoll's. It's like a berry company. So we're gonna start off by putting the flour and the salt in a bowl. So it's 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. So just plain white flour works really well. So just make sure you're wearing something you don't mind if it gets messy, because you're going to be covered in flour. Well, at least if you're a messy baker like I am, then you definitely will be. Ooh, already making a mess. This one's almost empty, so you'll have to try me. One. Perfect, 2 cups, 2, and I have another one here, and I just need a 1/4 cup. So let's open this big guy. Alright, so 2 1/4 cups of flour, and then we're also going to add our salt, and for salt we just need a half of a teaspoon. So just be really careful, you don't want to add too much salt. You don't want your dough to taste salty, that'd be a little gross. Alright, so there we go. So then we're gonna start pulsing with the mixer until everything is combined. Now with the mixers, they don't come with the blades already in them, so please be careful. I always make sure to put these little guys into the blender before I plug it in. And for you ladies with long hair, just make sure that your hair is tied up and out of the way, as I've seen too many videos on YouTube of people getting their hair stuck in blenders because they weren't paying attention. So I'm just going to plug this into the wall. I'll move this. So I just put it on low, and just be careful because it will fly everywhere because it is flour and salt. So just put it on low, and I mix just as so. So now that that's combined, we are going to add our next couple steps, which is, my iPad keeps locking. So then we want to add the butter and the shortening. So I'm just going to add this half a thing of butter, half a cup of butter. I don't know if they have these in the States, but in Canada we have these butter that comes in a package, and they all come in sticks, and each stick is a half of a cup, which is pretty cool. So what I usually do as well is I usually I'll break it up, so it makes it a little bit easier to blend. You see that flour flying everywhere? Put the garbage to the side. So then we're gonna do butter and the shortening. So shortening's pretty easy, I just have to grab a knife. The shortening lasts for a really long time, so I've had this just for a little while. Not that long, don't worry. And then we need a 1/3 of a cup of shortening, and there's actually, I don't know how well you can see it, I'll come up close. there's actually a measuring thing on the side here, which is actually really helpful because shortening's really messy. So then I just follow the line down. Oh, and this is also vegetable shortening, by the way, which is what the thing calls for. I don't know if there's like a meat shortening or what, but yeah. So put that there. And then now we're going to pulse it until it turns into coarse crumbs. So I'm going to change the camera angle so hopefully you guys can get a better view of this. Okay, so now that our first step is all into coarse crumbs, we're gonna start mixing, and I'm gonna start adding 5 to 7 tablespoons of the ice water into our mix as I'm mixing. But I usually actually add 8 tablespoons because I find the dough sticks together a little more and it's a lot easier to work with. And so yeah, we'll get that process started. Okay, so our dough is mixed, and the next step is we're gonna make a larger ball and a smaller ball of dough, and these are what we're gonna use for our crust and our lattice topping, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge to chill for 30 minutes. Okay, so our dough is mixed, and the next step is we're gonna make a larger ball and a smaller ball of dough, and these are what we're gonna use for our crust and our lattice topping, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge to chill for 30 minutes. Okay, so now we are going to prep our filling. So I have my strawberries and raspberries here. The raspberries don't require any cutting or anything, so I usually do them first. I'll just wash them and then throw them in to the filling. So I'll just turn this over here and just wash them with water. Strain them a little. Okay, so those are done. So with the strawberries, what you do is you cut off the green top, and then we cut them into quarters. The big ones I sometimes will cut into 6 pieces, depending on how big the strawberry is. Like something like this, I would cut into 6, maybe even 8 pieces. And then the little ones, like if it's just something like this, I'll just cut it into 4s. Sometimes 2s if it's like really tiny. But I don't think I'm gonna bore you with too much cutting because it does take a little bit of time. So I will come back when all of my stuff is chopped up. Okay, so now I have cut up all my strawberries and the raspberries are ready, all in the bowl here. As you can see, they all look delicious. So now we have to add cornstarch, vanilla extract, and sugar. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this in. And then it's 1 tablespoon, I believe. You can either do 2 tablespoons of brandy or 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. I only have vanilla extract here, so that's what I'm going to use. Do that. And 5 tablespoons of cornstarch, which I have in this box here. Ooh, cornstarch. I don't know who here reads French, but I sure don't. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that does sink. So then after that, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna give it a really good stir. Now it's not gonna look like this when it goes into the pie, Once everything cooks, it'll just look like red strawberries and raspberries in a pie. But it absolutely smells wonderful. It smells so sweet. And it's so easy to make. These pies are really quite simple. All you have to do is follow the recipe. And they taste just as good as they look. I learned how to make pie in high school. I took a baking course, and making a pie was actually our summative, which is like our big project at the end of the year. And I also learned how to do the lattice top through that as well, because that was extra credit. Alright, so that looks... Yeah, so you want to mix it until it looks about like this. It's all blended in and whatever. So we're just going to put this aside, and I'm going to finish waiting for the dough in the fridge to finish chilling, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, so I've taken the dough out of the fridge, and we're gonna get ready, and we're gonna roll it out and get our crust and lattice ready to go. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take some flour and just put it all over the counter, because what this will do is it'll stop anything from sticking. And then we're gonna put the dough ball right here. We're gonna start with our larger dough ball. A rolling pin or whatever you want to use to roll it out. You're going to put flour on that. And then you're going to start rolling. You want to get it as big as possible. They say we need to use a 9.5-inch pie pan. I've never seen one that big, so I use a 9-inch pan or pie tin, whatever you want to call it. You just want to roll it out really good. Now, if you're not sure if it's big enough, or when your dough's ready, you just take your pie tin and you put it on top of the dough right that. As you can see, it's not big enough yet, so we're just gonna keep on rolling. Honestly, I love baking. It's so much fun. And like, when somebody tells you they like what you made, it just feels really good. Get some more flour on there. You want to make sure that you have enough so that you have a little bit on the outside, so that it just gives you a little bit of wiggle room if something doesn't go quite right. A little more on a couple of sides. Bring it out like that. Alright, this should be good. Okay. Now don't ever be afraid to take some from somewhere, like some stuff from the outside, and put it on the edges if you need to, if it will help get your dough to where it needs to be, because it's dough. It has a mind of its own. It does what it wants to do, just like the honey batter. Okay. So this should be good. Just a little more here. Okay, perfect. So this next part, you're gonna want to be really careful to not rip your dough. It's one reason why we put the flour on, so it doesn't stick. Sometimes it takes a couple tries. Don't be alarmed. Or don't get upset if it doesn't work out the first time. Alright, that's good. And you just want to like gently place it, push it in a little bit so that it kind of sits like a bowl. just like that. So now it looks like this. So now what we're gonna do is put the berries in. Give it another little mix up. Then you're just gonna pour them on in. I want to try and make it as even as possible. Smells so good already, guys. Oh, I love it. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put this to the side and then I will show you how to make the lattice. Okay, so now for the lattice, we're gonna take our smaller ball of dough. We're gonna do the same thing that we did with the other one, with the larger ball. Put more flour on there and roll it out. There's no specific thing you want to, like specific dimensions or whatever, but you do want to make sure that the pieces will be big enough that you can stretch them across the whole pie as the lattice covers the whole pie. So I guess about 9 inches. Sometimes the dough doesn't like to cooperate. You have to make it cooperate. Don't be afraid to put a little bit of elbow juice into it. Really get it to stretch. Okay, so that should be good. So then I'm just gonna double check my recipe because there's a certain amount that I have to make. I think it's like 12. Let's see. Yes, so it'd be 12. So you wanna do them. Here, bring you over here, so that you can see better. We're gonna do 12 strips that are about 1 inch. I don't know exactly, but we wanna do 12 of them because we're gonna have 6 going down each side. I just use a butter knife. It works well for me. If there's something that works better for you, do it. I'm no professional baker. I bake because I enjoy it. So just gonna cut pieces like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you know, if you want to do less pieces for your lattice going across, then that's fine as well. You know, you gotta make it yours. I just follow the recipe. But like I said, it's not very hard. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And usually I would use the smaller pieces for around the edges. Okay. So then I'm going to bring the pie back into the picture here. I'm going to take my pieces like this. The first 6 are going to go across like this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I only got 5 across, that's fine. We can scooch these over. Like I said, you can do as many or as little lattice pieces going across as you like. I like the look of going 6 across and 6 down. you gotta do you. Okay, so then when it comes to the lattice, we're gonna put our first piece across this way. Oh, sorry, I lied. So you're gonna take three pieces. Every other piece is going to come up like this, and you're gonna lay a piece across like this, and then you're just gonna just be gentle. So like, you don't need to be rough with the dough pieces, by the way. Because they are somewhat fragile. So then what we're gonna do is those other pieces that did not get flipped over are gonna get flipped over this time, like this, and you're gonna put another piece. Oops, that broke. Oh no, I broke it. That's okay, it'll survive. Don't be like alarmed if something breaks, just put it back together. It's dough, it'll stick. Down like this, and then you just kind of keep going until you finish. So I'm going to continue this, and I will just do a quick speed through, because this is not the most exciting part of the pie, trust me. Alright, so we only have a couple of more steps before the pie is ready to go in the oven, but in the meantime you need to preheat your oven to 400 degrees and your pie is going to bake for 45 to 50 minutes. And right now I'm going to show you our last couple steps to making this pie. Okay, so one of the first steps is that we need to neaten up the edges. So you're going to take a butter knife or whatever you want to use. You could use a machete if you really wanted to. And you're just going to gently follow the edge of the pie plate around and get off all of the excess dough from the crust. It's not a hard thing to do. You don't need to be rough with it. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. So then around the edges, your pie will look nice and clean. So then the last part is you're gonna take one large beaten egg. I've already scrambled this one, and you're just gonna do this, and you're just gonna paint it over the top of your lattice. I've heard it's supposed to help with browning. Like, I'm not a professional baker, I don't know the reasons why I do things the way I do them, but I just follow the recipe. The recipe says do this, then do it. Just follow the recipe. And for you guys that really do want to make this, what I'm going to do is I will post the link to this recipe down in the comments, so that way you guys can make this delicious pie as well. I love it. I've never tasted a pie so good. Not to toot my own horn, but it's not even like it's my idea. It's whoever created the recipe, and people are like, oh, it's so good. I'm like, thank you, I made it myself. People are always amazed when I say I also make the crust myself. It's really not that hard. It's not rocket science. My mom has this thing, she says if you can read, you can cook. Yes, I do believe that, but even then, sometimes there's things in cooking that I don't understand. All those like fancy schmancy terms everybody has. So I just literally make sure there's a little bit of egg on all the spots of the dough that I can get to. Now you only need to do the top. Just where the lattice and the top of the crust, you don't have to worry about doing any other parts. Not that you can really get to any of the other parts right now, but like, I more or less mean you don't have to do the filling or anything. Just like this. Now, don't feel like you also need to use the entire egg, because you don't. You'll definitely have some left over and you can do what you want with it. You can cook it up or whatever. I have another pie to make today, so I'm gonna be using it for that. Oops. Okay, so that's just about done. My oven should be done preheating soon. Yes, it should be done preheating soon. And when it's ready, I will put the pie. All right, guys, pie is in the oven. Whew, fogs up the camera. All right, so we're gonna let it sit for 45 to 50 minutes. Usually I do clean up, but I still have a second pie to make today. So I'm just going to chill out, and I will see you guys in 45 to 50 minutes when the pie is done. All right, guys, when your pie is done, it'll be nice golden brown, and it'll smell absolutely amazing. And that's the last step. Enjoy. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like and share with all your friends and family and hit that red subscribe button down below. I'm also going to put the recipe for the strawberry raspberry pie in the link below as well. And I think this is the last video I'm going to post before Christmas, just as I have a lot of family stuff going on that I'm going to be around. I won't have any time to do any vlogging just for that time, but hopefully before the new year I will have another video up. If you have an idea of something you'd like me to do, just comment below and I will take a look at all the comments and I will pick something and we'll see what happens next. Alright guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or Happy whatever you celebrate it. May it be filled with love and peace and just everything wonderful. Alright, bye guys, love you all.